Hello. Welcome. Welcome to Auntie Noah's Reading Corner. My name is Auntie Noah. I'm so excited to share a wonderful book with you today. It's called Louie and Tabitha. Shall we read? Here we go. Louie and Tabitha, written by Stephanie Campisi and illustrated by Holly Mangert. Louie was a cat about town, dashing, charming, perfectly suave. He lived unofficially at the fire station and had since a daring rescue involving a very small Louie, a very shrill smoke alarm, and a very tall house. His tail still had the scorch marks. Louie liked to go visiting, as society cats do. Sometimes he'd travel in the fire truck. Everywhere he went, Louie was welcomed with open arms and leftovers. One night, after too much catnip and too many sardines, Louie was making his rounds when he took a wrong turn. He climbed a wall and saw Tabitha. Elegant, silky, perfectly sophisticated. Louie stopped. Tabitha stared. It was love. Love from afar. Love under the spotlight of the moon. Love thwarted by a thick glass door. And by Tabitha's owner. "Shoo!" she cried. "Shoo!" Louie shooed, but he wasn't done. The next morning, Tabitha stared out at a vast bouquet of sardine tins and twine and feathers. Louie smiled. Tabitha smiled. Tabitha's owner did not smile. "Shoo!" she cried. "Shoo!" Louie shooed, but he wasn't done. The next day, he brought mice. The day after that, he brought pigeons. And after that, balloons, which is not easy when you're a cat. Each day, Louie and Tabitha stared into each other's eyes until Tabitha's owner chased Louie away. Louie needed advice. He asked his friends over a bowl of cream. "You're an outside cat," said Mr. Pickles. "And you need to be an inside cat," said Socks. "Or at least look like one," said one-eyed Winky. Louie had an idea. The next day, Louie showed up at Tabitha's door once more. Louie smiled. Tabitha smiled. Tabitha's owner clutched her hands to her heart and opened the door. Louie was inside, where everything was soft and warm and scratchable. And Louie and Tabitha were inseparable. Until the doorbell rang. "Is this him?" "That's him." And Louie and Tabitha were thwarted by the thick glass door once more. Louie had a new home. and a new name and a new owner, and all the sardines and cheese he could eat. But all he wanted was Tabitha, and all Tabitha wanted was Louis. It was love. Love from afar, love from far too afar. Then the doorbell rang. "Is this him?" "That's him." "And that's not him." And Louis was a cat about town once more. Louis needed advice. He asked his friends over a bowl of cream. "You're an outside cat," said Mr. Pickles. "And she's an inside cat," said Socks. "And that's just the way it is," said One-Eyed Winky. So Louis went visiting, as society cats do. He went visiting all across town. Everywhere he went, he was welcomed with open arms and leftovers, and everywhere he went, Tabitha wasn't. Until one night, Louis was riding in the fire truck when his tail began to tingle. Louis saw Tabitha, elegant, silky, perfectly sophisticated, and in terrible danger. The sirens began to wail. "Everyone outside!" cried the firefighters. The crowd was a cloud of arms and shrieks as it gathered on the corner, but there was no Tabitha. And suddenly there was no Louis. The crowd waited and worried and fretted. Finally the gray parted, and from it emerged Louis and Tabitha, leading Tabitha's owner. The crowd cheered. Tabitha's owner plopped down on the curb and clutched her hands to her heart. She looked at Louis and Tabitha and smiled. The cat show judge placed a blue ribbon on Tabitha, and the firefighters placed a gold medal on Louis and declared them both perfectly heroic. Louis was back inside, where everything was soft and warm and scratchable. And Louis and Tabitha were inseparable. The end. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, go to Familius.com for books, articles, and other stuff that will help your family be happy. Because every family deserves to be happy.